IVM.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy, actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashton Doctor, your habit coach. And today's fun fact of the day has to do with our noses. Did you know that our nose has erectile tissue? Yep, you heard that right. The same kind of tissue that exists in our genitals exists in our nose. And this tissue is special because it engorges with blood and hence expands. Now, in our genitals, this tissue makes complete sense. But why do we have it in our noses? And interestingly, there were a few studies done to understand the nasal genital reflex. Yeah, such a thing exists. Imagine a direct connection between our genitals and our nose. There are some reports of nosebleeds after using Viagra or blocked noses from honeymoons. It's quite crazy. But the nose is a really fascinating organ. And I have always been very conscious of mine, huge as it is. What we often don't realize or we take for granted is the complexity of our nose. It's full of nasal passages and lined with cells that have so many different functions. As modern humans, we bypass all these amazing functions and instead choose to breathe through our mouths. Quite honestly, humans are the worst breathers in the animal kingdom. While we think that breathing is a natural process, we have lost our ability to breathe correctly. Take a look around you at people breathing, and more than half of them will have their mouths open and will be breathing through it. This is because our fitness levels are low, and hence we spend most of the day just panting as if we are running. Our body has lost the ability to harness all that oxygen efficiently. The second reason for mouth breathing is that we are overweight. Our jaw and our throat are pulled open by this weight, especially at night. When we breathe through our mouths, the air that we take in does not get filtered. Our nose uses hair and mucus to trap harmful bacteria, pollen, and other contaminants. This is the first line of defense for our respiratory system. Now imagine if you're breathing through your mouth, what is happening to your respiratory system? It's no wonder we have so many issues. Our nose also warms up the air that we breathe in. I remember on my first trek in the Himalayas, breathing heavily through my mouth, and that ruined my mouth. My gums were bleeding because of the cold. It also made me feel more cold internally than breathing through my nose. However, the most important thing the nose does is that it produces nitric oxide. And this is a naturally occurring vasodilator. This means that it expands and opens the veins and arteries, allowing for more blood to flow through the body. This lowers blood pressure and can help with many heart and cardiovascular issues. Now, as your habit coach, I want you to breathe and get the most out of your wonderful body. Breathing, just like sleep, is one of the most important cures for many of our illnesses. It's natural, free, and hence we give it no importance. Start by changing your breathing habit. Start by learning and getting used to breathing through your nose. So your super simple habit starts by becoming aware of your mouth breathing. You will know this because your mouth will feel dry. Every time you catch yourself breathing through your mouth, sit up straight and shut your mouth. It will be difficult at first. You will feel frustrated, but that is only because your body is not used to breathing through the nose. After a month or so, it will feel natural to breathe through your nose. It really is a marvelous organ. For most of the day, we can't even see it, and hence we don't even know it's there. Usually in a podcast, it's me who speaks to you and you who listens. But I've been seeing your comments and it's time. It's me listening to you. Following the overwhelming success of this podcast, the good folks at IVM Podcast Network have decided to come up with a Kannada adaptation of the show. For those who prefer listening to it in that language, do make sure you let your Kannada speaking friends know about this as well. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashton Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says It's Cock and Bull, Cyrus, Kajol, Naren, and Antriksh discuss the meat ban in Delhi and UP and the controversial sociology textbook that outlines the merits of dowry. On IVM Like, Zalak, Antriksh, and Snehal discuss this year's Oscars and Grammys. On Press Decode, Sarah, Vagda, and Prafula take a look at Russia's alleged war crimes in Bucha. On The Fighting Goat, Arjun and Somesh observe how the MMA market has changed since 2003. And on Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav takes us from Udupi in Karnataka to Madurai in Tamil Nadu. We dive into the fascinating history of the dosa, its origins, and its evolution. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on, including the one you're listening to us on now. And also, please do check us out on YouTube. We have a number of channels. They're all available on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. We're also doing a small listener survey to help us understand you, the listener, better, and how you like our shows, how you respond to the advertising, and so on. We'd really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it out. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, SBI Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and Jupiter, a digital banking app. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Don't you think that if everyone around you is getting smart, you better be smarter? Hey there, I'm the traveling professor Siddharth Deshmukh, and I'm back with season 2 of my podcast to make you smarter. Smarter with Sid. What's this season's focus about? Well, it's about 10-minute nuggets that will make you stand out at work. It's time to go from smart to smarter. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday and become smarter with Sid.